It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Let's go with David and then Liz. Go ahead, and then Lewis.
In that last lap position where you're leading the race, I mean, obviously, we keep asking people, do they want to have the lead at the white flag? And it seems like a really stupid question when you think about it. But you got Kyle Busch coming. You know that there's all kinds of things that can happen. And you're the only one that doesn't have any moves to make that except for just counter moves.
That's
as a
what
leader,
you think.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As the leader, what do you have in your arsenal? That was sort of what I was asking.
You just watch. I mean, you know, it's the thing when you're leading is you spend 90% of the lap looking at what's going on behind you in the mirror. And I know that's hard to imagine running 190 miles an hour that you're watching the mirror like that. But you have to be conscious of what the guys are doing behind you, how you can see in your mirror how they're trying to set themselves up to make the pass to try to win the race. And you know, they have to be careful not to try something that's going to get them in a position to get past, but at the same time, you know, get themselves backed away from you. So you have to try to not let yourself run out too far ahead and get such a gap that all of a sudden you lose that push and your car slows down, and then they get a push from behind and get a big advantage and a big run on you. So you just spend the majority of that lap just watching behind you, and it's a chess match at that point. I mean, it's move, counter move, counter move, and you know that the last 2.5 miles seems like it takes forever, and it's because it does. There's a lot that happens in that last 50-second lap.
We'll go Liz and then Lewis.
Liz Clark, Washington Post. On that exact topic, that last portion of the race, was there anything about the way Kyle raced you and was on your bumper that you would consider kind of over the line, or do you respect that as hard-nosed, aggressive stuff?
It's definitely aggressive for sure. If I would have lost it and crashed because of it, I guarantee I'd be upset about it, because he never turned loose of us going in there. But you know, we saw Jason Leffler get a 5-lap penalty for aggressive driving. Well, pushing a guy off in the corner isn't exactly obviously the best thing to do. But you know, the thing that Kyle did that I want to make sure everybody understands is Kyle didn't wreck me. He didn't try to wreck me. What Kyle did was tried to get me in a position where my car got loose and I had to chase it up the racetrack to where I gave him the bottom. And that happened. But in doing so, he had to run up the racetrack too. And it wasn't like he just ran in there and ran us up into the fence. I mean, he didn't do that. You know, Kyle's the type of guy that if you beat him and in a race like this, if you can win the race, you know that you did everything 100% right, because if you don't do it 100% right, he's going to find a way around you. And it doesn't mean that I did something special that nobody else could do, but it means I got everything out of myself today, and the guys did a great job of getting 100% out of the car. But you know, he's not gonna give it to you, and I wouldn't expect him to. I mean, you want to earn those wins, and when you can do it that way, and you can manhandle your race car up around the racetrack like that, that's what makes winning these races so special, is knowing that you didn't get it handed to you. You had to work hard for it.
Go Lewis and then Mark.
Lewis, Frankie, ESPN.com. Rick, with all the pressure and attention on tomorrow's race, you know, where do you rank a win on Saturday? And at what point do you stop enjoying this race and start worrying about tomorrow?
You know, I hadn't even thought about tomorrow for the last, I don't know how long we've been in Victory Lane, but, you know, when you've been doing it for 25 years, when you look at the wins, you'd like to see some of the greatest drivers that ever drove the sport drive your cars. And that's something that I've been really excited about, to have Tony get in the car. And again, it's been a long time. I've watched a lot of Saturday races, and it's been a while since we've been to Victory Lane on a Saturday race. And so, you know, I take them one at a time. I'll start worrying about tomorrow probably in the morning. But all the cars are real competitive, and I think it's going to be a heck of a race tomorrow. Look, you know, based on the 150s and the clash, the shootout, whatever you call it now. But you know, I think this is just, you know, again, the emotions from having Tony in the car, Lance being the crew chief, and all the dealerships putting so much behind this. And at this point in time, and with economy like it is, it's just a script that if I could say I want this to happen, then it couldn't get any better than this. It just couldn't.
We'll go to Mark and then upstairs.
Mark Dakotas from Florida today for Tony. Have you met with Goodyear yet, and do you stand by what you said this morning in the interview? Thank you.
I don't say it if I don't mean it. I mean, surely after 11 years, you guys have figured that out. But, you know, the thing is this morning's over and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing will change. It hasn't since I've been a part of this sport when it comes to that topic. And the important thing is that, you know, we found a way to put that behind us by winning the nationwide race for Mr. Hendrick and HendrickCars.com and Lance. You know, this was the perfect thing to try to get it out of my mind and to get me focused 100% on what we can do to try to win the race tomorrow again now. No, I didn't, and I won't. I've met with them before, and it doesn't do any good, so I'd rather wait. I would rather spend my time productively hanging out with this group and going out and winning races.
We'll go upstairs, and then we'll go to Al and Jay. Go ahead.
Tony, that final half lap, how much of that would, if you could break it down, how much of that would you say was car and how much of that was just personal on your part? And would a lesser driver have backed out of that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've not ever been another driver, so I really can't answer that for sure. But I mean, I promise you this. I mean, you have to have a car that you know is driving good to be able to do that with a guy on your bumper like that. And I think we had 27 or 28 laps on our tires at that point. So to have somebody tucked up under you with that many laps on your tires, you know, was pretty impressive. And that's the job that Lance and the crew did. You know, making sure that you know we just kept whittling away at it and you know, Lance made a pretty aggressive change there and caught all the way up to what we were wanting in one change there, which was it really impressed me. That you know we went from kind of being a ways off to not knowing how much to go, and he made the perfect call in one stop and got it right where it needed to be. And you know, if you don't have that balance, I don't care whether you got stickers on, I don't care whether you're on 40-lap tires. If you go down the corner and your car's not right, I don't care whether you're the best race car driver in the world. You can only do as much as that car will let you do, and you know that's where it starts. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys that could have, you know, wrestled it. It's how far do you go before you finally just run out of talent? And I wasn't too far off of it, but luckily I didn't have to go any further than I went before I caught it.
Stay upstairs for another question. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lee Montgomery, NASCAR scene. For Tony, on the last lap after you slid up the track, Kyle kind of went to the inside, but then stopped, I guess. Did you block him at that point? Did he run out of draft? Did he back off? What happened there? You
know, I don't know, because I thought at the point that I got off the bottom, I thought that I had lost the race for sure, and that him and the line would have went underneath me. And I got a chance to watch the replay, and when we went off into 3, you know, I had to start chasing the back of the car up the track, and he just stayed there. I mean, he stayed on the bumper and followed me up the racetrack. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly why he ended up going up the racetrack as far as he did, but when he had to tug on it to get back down, apparently it broke his momentum enough to where, you know, we were able to carry the momentum we had. And our car was really, really good, even in practice, about rolling the center of the corner and carrying momentum. And, you know, I think that's what helped us win the race, was the fact that our car just rolled so good through the center of the corner that once he got off of us and tried to get back down to the bottom, that it broke his momentum, and we were able to carry ours. And then by that time, the 60 car and a couple, I think the 29 was behind him, were able to get on the outside, and I think that pulled Kyle back the rest of the way when we came down the short chute.
Another question upstairs. Go ahead.